Welcome to Federalism, the ultimate team-up. This video explores the balance of constitutional power, focusing on the 10th Amendment and the Commerce Clause. Before the Constitution, states were independent. They feared a powerful central government, risking liberty. The solution was a contract. States surrendered specific powers to the federal government while reserving the rest. We have two main players. Captain Federal focuses on national security, foreign relations, and the interstate economy, drawing authority from Article 1. The State Sentinel handles local needs, community priorities, and daily life, based on state constitutions and the 10th Amendment. The power grid consists of four types. Expressed powers are explicitly written for the federal government and are stated in the Constitution. Implied powers are logically necessary to carry out those expressed powers and are not directly written in the Constitution. Reserved powers are entirely held by the states, and concurrent powers are shared by both systems. Expressed powers are the main arsenal. They include the ability to collect taxes, declare war, establish post offices, regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states, and set naturalization rules. These powers are strictly limited to what is explicitly stated. Implied powers are the hidden tech. The federal government can do what is necessary and proper for its main duties, even if not explicitly stated. For example, the express power to establish citizenship rules implies the power to monitor borders. Implied powers must be connected to an express power. The 10th Amendment is the ultimate force field. It confirms that any power not delegated to the federal government, nor prohibited to the states, is reserved to the states or the people. It prevents the national government from gaining infinite, general power. It confirms that if a power wasn't given to the federal government, they don't have it. It acts as a failsafe to prevent the national government from gaining too much power. Reserved powers include the massive police power, covering health, safety, morals, and welfare. This allows states to customize laws for unique citizen needs, independent of federal control, regulating everything from hospitals to zoning laws. Concurrent powers are combo moves, abilities shared by both state and federal systems, such as taxing, borrowing money, and operating court systems. When state and federal laws clash, the Supremacy Clause acts as the override, making federal law supreme. It's a mistake to conflate the Commerce Clause and the 10th Amendment. The Commerce Clause is a delegated federal power, acting as the engine for federal expansion. The 10th Amendment is a state reservation, acting as a brake against federal overreach. Their clash defines the balance of power. The Commerce Clause regulates commerce among the several states and with foreign nations. The modern interpretation allows federal regulation if an activity crosses state lines or substantially affects interstate markets. The tension lies in determining how far this power reaches. In Wickard v. Filburn, 1942, the Supreme Court ruled a local farmer growing his own wheat could be federally regulated. This established the aggregate effect. Even non-commercial local activity can be regulated if, in the aggregate, it substantially affects the national market, expanding federal power. United States v. Lopez, 1995, was a state victory. The Supreme Court struck down a federal law criminalizing gun possession near schools, ruling it was not sufficiently economic. The Commerce Clause is not an infinite pass to regulate strictly local affairs, placing a modern limit on federal power. The anti-commandeering doctrine, reinforced by cases like Prince v. United States, prevents the federal government from forcing state employees to enforce federal laws. However, the federal government can use the power of the purse, offering grant money with specific conditions to encourage voluntary state cooperation. The federal system is founded on the Constitution and relies on expressed and implied powers. The state system is based on the 10th Amendment and relies on reserved and police powers. The ongoing clash between the Commerce Clause and the 10th Amendment is a critical feature, ensuring a continuous balance of power. How did the ratification of the 10th Amendment in 1791 reflect fears of centralized power after the American Revolution? And why was it essential for gaining support for the Constitution? In what ways did early debates between Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson shape the interpretation of federal versus state powers under the 10th Amendment? How did landmark events, such as the Civil War, challenge the balance of power between state and federal governments? And what did this reveal about the limits of the 10th Amendment? How has the 10th Amendment influenced major Supreme Court cases, such as McCulloch versus Maryland, and modern rulings on issues like healthcare, education, and marijuana laws? Why is federalism, as outlined in the 10th Amendment, still relevant today in debates over issues like public health and state rights? And how does it continue to shape the relationship between federal and state governments?